Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. So, another weekend and another opportunity to learn, upgrade, upskill ourselves. So, boys and girls, let's start in our signature style. Let's do it. Let's push it hard. So, welcome to day 8 of our 90 days public speaking journey or challenge, which we have titled that as Bro Speak Like a Pro. So we have taken you through first 7 days, and you know the purpose of this journey, right? We know why we are here. We are here because we understand that it's very important to have a mastery of public speaking, confident communication in whichever walk of life you are, and primarily we are talking of English speaking skills here, which are very very vital important, um, to ensure your success. So with this as brief introduction, let's dive into the topic of the day, that is crafting a very clear message. So just let me minimize myself and maximize the size of the content, right? In fact, let me make myself a little more smaller. Okay. So I hope you can see it clearly. Let me just check once. Yes, I can see that. It's just very, very clear and visible. Okay. So once again, welcome, boys and girls, to the 90 days public speaking challenge. And today we are going to cover day 8. So let's start. So today we'll be exploring the art of crafting a very clear, compelling message that resonates with your audience. And over the next 1 hour, but I'm going to break it in parts so that I know it's easy for you to understand. We'll see that how you can transform your ideas into powerful words that inspire and motivate your team, right? So get ready. Let's elevate your speaking skills to the new heights. Let's dive into see how we can craft messages that can captivate your listeners. Okay. First, let's understand why it is important to have clear message. Okay. So a clear and concise message can captivate your audience and hold their attention. That's what your aim is, right? So whatever you want to convey to your audience should grasp it with absolute attention, right? And this will only come when the message is absolutely clear. So clarity helps in boosting retention. Your audience will remember your key points long even after the presentation. So when your message is crystal clear, it can inspire action, it can motivate your audience to make a real change. The image of this lightning bulb reinforces that your message should be so clear that ये आपके audience के दिमाग की बत्ती जला सके, right? So that's the symbolic meaning of this image. And the three key benefits of clarity is or are captivating your audience, boosting retention, and inspiring action, right? Let's move ahead and see that how does it defines our purpose. So the purpose of this particular slide is to introduce you to three very important aspects of the communication which you want to share with your audience, that is informing, persuading, and inspiring. So the information which you want to share with the audience could come or rather fit into these three buckets. So when information, when you're sharing information, it's about sharing knowledge and educating the audience on a specific topic or idea. The goal is to provide information and increase understanding of that particular topic or subject. When you are persuading, it is about convincing your audience to adapt or adopt a new perspective or take a particular action. And the goal here is to change the mind and influence your audience. Now, coming on to the third, that is inspiration. So, here it's all about motivating your audience to reach for their dreams, overcome challenges, and the goal is to uplift and empower the target audience. So, as you prepare, whenever you have that assignment, whenever you prepare for your presentation, it's important to identify your primary purpose, structure your content accordingly, Knowing your purpose will help you craft your message and connect with the audience more effectively, right? So that's, I mean, whatever we are going to do, first we have to define the purpose, and this defining our purpose can fit into these three buckets of, information, persuasion, and inspiration. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's see what's more to it. So now, what are the objectives? What do you want your audience to go home with after you have finished your presentation? So the key to an effective presentation is to focus on two or three essential takeaway. You cannot load them with too much of things to grasp, right? So keep it short, keep it to two or three maximum, right? Takeaway that resonate with your core message. Now, make these takeaways memorable by using techniques like rhyme to help the audience easily recall them, right? Make it as interesting, as fun filled, as enthusiastic as you can. Okay. And, then finally, you, you also ensure that your takeaway is closely aligned with your overall presentation purpose, right? It should be aligned with the core message so that every point reinforces your main goal. And what do we achieve by this? By distilling your content down to the most critical elements, right? You will increase retention and your audience leaves with key information you want them to remember, right? So these are the advantages of, I know, keeping in short or minimizing the takeaways of your presentation. Okay. Now let's see how you can structure into various parts so that it becomes easy for you as well as your audience to accept, absorb, and for you to deliver. So generally, no, all the presentations universally also are structured into three parts, right? That's the classic standard framework. So it consists, I mean, some part is divided into three major portions, and these are introduction, then the main body, and finally the conclusion, right? So in the introduction, you want to hook the audience or no, get them glued to your topic and clearly state your purpose. So this sets the stage. Like I started with saying that why we are here. Our purpose or our mission is only to ensure that you succeed, and how you'll succeed by improving on your English communication skill, which is also part of the public speaking skills, right? So that's the purpose to start with. And now we are covering day 8, the elements which will help them to achieve this purpose. Okay. So now once you have introduced, let's move on to the main body. So this is the time, or this is the area wherein you present the main points and supporting evidence. So this is the core of your message, right? The main structure of your presentation. And finally, to end with, conclusion is where you summarize the key points and you leave a lasting impression with a powerful closing statement, right? So following this structure will help you to ensure that your presentation is well organized and it flows seamlessly, right? It looks synchronous. It looks like a symphony. So you can, use this structure in your whatever presentations you're going to do in future. Okay. Now let's move ahead. Let's see how we can craft a compelling introduction. Okay. Okay. So first we have to start with a powerful hook. It could be in the form of a statement, it could be in the form of a story, it could be in the form of a data, it could be in the form of a picture, it could be in the form of a problem statement, right? So idea is to quickly draw the attention of your audience, right? So that's how one has to make the start. Now moving ahead, explain why this topic is important, right, and relevant to the audience. Help them understand how it applies to their interests or challenges. Like I emphasized that why it is important to learn public speaking, and more importantly, public speaking in English, right? Because it helps you in every sphere of your life, whether you're a student looking for your first break to crack the first exam. If you have cracked the first exam, then in your GDs, if you got your first job, in your interviews, and subsequent at your workplace and life, everywhere, this skill is going to help, right? and without this it becomes very difficult to make a lasting impression, right? Okay, now moving ahead, provide a clear roadmap. Like we are doing, we are telling you how you can do it. We have told the purpose, but how to achieve that is, this is what this journey of 90 days is all about, right? That every day we'll be covering some topics which, if you practice, rehearse consistently, will make you a better communicator, a better speaker. So provide a clear roadmap of the key points you will cover in your presentation. This gives the audience a structure to follow along, and use an enthusiastic and engaging tone to set the stage for an impactful talk. Okay, so this is how you should make the start. Now let's move ahead and see that how you can develop a, you know, good structure, the main structure of your presentation, which we call it as body. So the main purpose of this slide is to highlight the key elements of developing a strong body content for your presentation. So the first column covers the importance of presenting your key ideas clearly and ensuring they are directly supporting your overall purpose, right? They are a means to an end. Now, the second column emphasizes the need to back your point with compelling supporting evidences. It could be in the form of facts, it could be in the form of references, examples, success stories, some data, some a wording or a clip from a specialist, an expert, anything which helps the audience to believe in whatever you have said. So the third column focuses on the value of using smooth transition to guide your audience from one point to another, and it should flow very logically, right? So that it doesn't look absurd. It shouldn't look like missing pieces in a puzzle. So these three elements, the main point, the supporting evidence, and transitions, are critical for crafting an impactful introduction and an impactful body that keeps your audience engaged and persuaded. With this, let's have a look at the power of simplicity, right? Sometimes I know simple ideas, simple presentations, simple pics, simple thoughts make more meaningful impact than complex ones, right? So simplicity is very, very powerful if used rightly. It helps us to communicate ideas clearly and effectively. So when you have general audience, right? So try and avoid the jargons or technical language that your audience may not understand. Idea is not to impress them with your technical knowledge, subject matter expertise. Idea is to convey the message which you want them to understand, right? So stick to everyday common language. जितना सरल और सादा भाव में आप उसको एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं वैसा कीजिए. अगर वो ऑडियंस जर्नल है, right? So उनके audience is the heart of everything you are doing. So unless whatever language, whatever content, whatever slides you have used, unless your audience is not able to understand, it's of no use, right? So keep it simple sometimes, right? And always align it to the audience interest. Now, keep your sentences short, concise, chota rakhiye unhe. Long and complex sentences can confuse and disengage your audience. Focus on presenting one key idea at a time. Don't try to cover too much, right? It becomes then overdose of information, especially in a single presentation, single slide, as it can overwhelm your audience. Now, the goal is to enhance clarity and make a strong impact through simplicity in our language and delivery. Okay, now let's have a look how we can keep our audience engaged. It's no very difficult than just being said. So engage your audience by asking thought-provoking questions throughout the presentation. This keeps them involved and thinking. We have seen there are other elements also which can keep the audience engaged. Use personal anecdotes, little small stories, chote kisse, kahaniyan, right? To illustrate, explain your key points, stories that make your message more memorable and relatable, right? Share relevant personal experience that connect to the topic. For example, for this bro speak like a pro, I can personally tell that when I started, I could hardly speak a word, right? I'm for a pure absolute village background, and from that, a journey into working with the best one of the best top-notch companies, and speaking confidently, right? Though it's a journey, no one is perfect, but I know you can transition from a novice to an expert if you continue practicing. So this is my story, and I'm very confident that if you follow the processes for 90 days, if you're sincerely involved, certainly you'll become absolutely fabulous speaker, right? So that's my story. I hope you also create your own stories. So vary your delivery, your energy to maintain your audience attention. Use hand gestures, eye contact, your body language, whichever props, anything, stage, mind, whatever you can use to keep your the attention of your audience fixed to you or your topic. I know you must use it. So encourage question, discussion, encourage participation, involve them. Don't make it monologue, monotonous, right? So it should always be two way. I feel it could be multi-way as well, right? These are some of the elements to keep your audience engaged. Now let's move ahead to another important aspect that's called the rule of three. It's a widely accepted powerful technique for creating memorable and impactful presentations, informing the audience with whatever data, whatever information you want to present. Keep it to three max, right, in three parts, and follow that rule of three, and so that it has a natural rhythm. It's a pattern that makes it more memorable for the audience. So famous speeches often use techniques like three words, anything: all is well, life is beautiful, and the most popular, I love you, no, just do it, we can do it, we can do it together. So these are some of the examples of how these three-word phrases can be impactful, and the audience can retain them for a long time. So apply this rule of three, structure your main points into three, use this slide in the form of rule of three. 1/3 or one third of the slide should be only used for the core message of your on that particular slide. So once you apply this rule of three, this creates a clear, compelling flow that is easy for the audience to follow and retain. So with this, I'll take a pause here, and just a sec, let me come back to the main screen, and now it's for my time to come in the center stage and the content to take a back seat. Okay, so boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a pause here. With this, we come to the end of part one of day 8. I don't want to overload you with information, and I'll end this with saying that I'm very confident that you can do it. You have the potential to do it, and it's a very important skill to learn, right? And it's doable. So, boys and girls, let's keep pushing ourselves, and we sign off in our signature style. Let's do it and keep rocking. I will see you in part 2 very soon. Till such time, take care of yourself and keep rocking.